Welcome to the Outer Realm with MicheleDerocher and Amelia Pisano. Airing live on the United Public Radio Network, 105.3 FM in New Orleans.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome back. Season's greeting, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, whatever the case may be. Welcome back. We are back on this incredible Thursday night. And we are, of course, live on the United Public Radio Network, UFO Paranormal Radio Network, 105.3 FM from the Gulf Coast, 107.7 FM from beautiful New Orleans. And, of course, we are fully sponsored by the amazing people over at Folgers Coffee who have been a part of our journey now for the last few years. So thank you, Folgers. We couldn't do it without you, nor would we want to. Also, big thank you to Justice Snicker, a.k.a. Dr. Snick, the sonic surgeon, for the contribution of his time, his music, and his voice for the intro you just heard. He's an award-winning composer of Halloween, horror, sci-fi, and dark wave electronic music, which can be found on all of your favorite music streaming platforms. And of course, lastly, big thank you to Steve McGinnis, the artist behind the banners and logos at the show. Check him out on Facebook and Instagram. Also specializes in the horror genre, but does great commission pieces of all sorts. So we're back. Bubbles, how was your holidays?
It was great, thank you. And you?
Well, quiet, because I've been sick.
Yeah.
Yes, you know, me who's yada yada. Oh, get sick, y'all. I got it.
Never say never.
Nope, that was it. So it got handed to me, and I've been just taking it. And our festivities, of course, will be, on the upcoming weekend, and that's okay. I don't want to contaminate anybody, Well, I mean, I have a few choice people I probably wouldn't mind, but that just wouldn't be very Christmassy of me. So
yeah.
So anyway, but tonight is really looking forward to it because, and I'll let you guys know, we had actually contemplated whether this was going to be a night for a rerun, whether we were going to do an open mic, which we already did, and then of course, our dear friend Michael Carter says, "Oh, it's a perfect time of year. Let's just talk inspiration." And I thought, you know what? Let's do an evening of inspiration and spirituality with, Reverend Michael Carter. If time allows, maybe we can pick his brain towards the end of the show as to all this chaos going on out there with drones and Pentagon saying, "There's a mothership over us. They're all coming from there." And we're just like, wait, what? 6 weeks ago, there's no such thing. Now it's like, wait, what'd you say? So we're going to see because, most people know Michael, of course, from, Ancient Aliens. So no better person, to ask and out of sheer curiosity. But yeah, anyway, that's that. So, and without further ado, are you ready, Michael? Yeah, just nod. Yeah, we're good. We're good. Yeah. Maybe? No?
Not yet.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. So I was waiting for.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Hey. Hi. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Happy Boxer Day. Hold on. It's dark in here. Let me turn on some more light.
Okay. Awesome. Okay. There we are.
My side is well lit. Hello.
Yeah, I thought so too. You're pretty well lit, Michael.
It's probably your laptop, your screen that's dark.
How's that?
Yeah. There we go. Good. Beautiful.
Okay.
Beautiful. So, how are you?
That's a TV personality. Always going for the bright light.
Or the Bud Light. Or the Bud Light for the holiday.
Or the Bud Light. Anyway. I think he's one of those right now.
No, I'm doing well. And
you look good.
I cut my hair. You
did?
Yeah, see?
How does it feel?
You did.
It looks
Light.
really good.
Lighter. Thank you. I mean, I still have twist in it just in case I want to grow it back, but I don't think so. You know, I swim, and you know, it's interesting that the very things that got on my nerves to make me cut it, when I wanted to do it, it didn't bother me. So you see how life changes. You know, my shoulders were getting tight, my neck, because it's heavy. And if I get a bathing cap, if it gets wet. And I just said, you know, I'm in a different part of my life now. And I just feel lighter. I put the bathing cap on. I'm aerodynamic. I'm swimming.
You're probably swimming faster, right? I have hair that's like past the middle of my back. And there is nothing worse than coming out of a pool with your hair wet. It's like, oh my,
Yeah. So, you know, it's cool. I dig it. And
it looks
I feel
really
good. Thank you, Mark. The light follows you too, brother. My brother, Mark Edison. So, yeah, but I'm feeling good. I've been looking forward to the show. It's the end of the year and want to set the tone for next year. Because next year will be an interesting year. And so, yeah, I hope you ladies are feeling good too.
Yes, I mean, you know, I'm just getting over being sick, so my head's a little bit, but I'm
a little cotton fuzzy. I just talked to a friend of mine. Look, you got a fuzzy head, cloudy head, cotton head. Yeah. No, but he's got the same thing. I mean, I don't know what you have, but he had a stomach virus, couldn't hold anything down, had a fever, and he's in Michigan. And then another friend of mine in New York said, man, I think I got a bad cold here. So just take care. Because you don't want to start the year sick. You want to end it on a good note.
I haven't been sick in years. And I was a little cocky and kind of went on about it like a couple weeks ago. No, I don't get sick. Because I take so much natural stuff.
She says I don't get sick once a year, and then she's sick right after that.
I don't like 4 freaking years, and because I take all this natural supplements, and my immune system like fights back, and then all of a sudden it snuck up on me.
Right, but you know what? If you weren't doing those, Michelle, if you weren't doing those things, you'd probably be sicker longer. So that's the whole thing. It's preventative. So when you do get something, instead of you being out for 10 days, 2 weeks, in 3 or 4 days, your immune system's getting it back together. So you'll be okay.
There's a product on the market without giving the name because they don't pay us to talk about them that you insert into your nostril when you feel something coming on or you are going to be around someone who's sick. And knock on wood, that thing has kept me whole so far.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying it really does work. And I'm not naming who it is, but you'll figure it out. Just look for wherever the sprays are and you'll see it. It says blah, blah, blah defense.
Yeah, there we go. That's your hint.
Just giving you a tip. Hint. You know, if you're, because a lot of people are run down at this time of year, either work or, you know, the holidays, like I hosted. So I know it's exhausting, but I mean, I woke up late today and I took naps all day and I didn't even seriously, I think I've been awake. I don't know, a couple hours. I've been sleeping all day. It's just crazy.
Well, I thought this would be, because, you know, we kind of jammed back and forth about what would be the perfect conversation for us to have, you know, for the end of the year. And I thought, oh my gosh, because it's a time of year and, you know, I mean, it's different for everybody, but I thought it'd be nice to touch on, you know, some inspirational stuff and some spiritual stuff. And in the end, we can maybe touch on a little bit of the crazy that's going on right now. People kept saying, oh, Michael Carter, yes, like I've mentioned aliens. I want to find out what his take is on these drones and everything else. So I think maybe we could just put our foot on the banana peel and head into 2025 with a bit of drone talk.
They're insane.
No, we can. Now. We can. Most, you know, anything's fair game.
Yes.
Anything is fair game.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I think so.
You know, anything's fair game.
I saw one.
Did you?
Yeah.
I didn't know what it was. I was in my kitchen and we had replaced the windows and I haven't put blinds up yet. And I live in the country, and I looked out, and I'm used to planes going by because the airport's not far. And I looked out, and this thing's out there, but it's not really moving much. It's just kind of really slow.
Mm-hmm.
And then I thought to myself, the Warplane Museum is next to the airport. They wouldn't be flying that Lancaster right now, right? Because the Lancaster, I would hear that. That's 4 Rolls-Royce engines. You hear that.
We do have a Lancaster.
And I'm like, this is really bizarre. But I had I was coming into a migraine. It was a bad day. I had to go to my sliding door, which is right next to that window where I saw it, because I didn't even see it level off. It was just sort of like this. And I'm looking, I put my glasses on, I go out there. It's gray. It's tiny, like the size of a car. And it has the wings, but the tip is like this going in. So it's like that.
It was interesting to see.
No sound.
Far north, though. Yeah.
No sound whatsoever. Nothing. I'm like, okay. The hell is this?
Yep.
So,
right, and I am.
I'm this far south, but obviously, it was all over the media and the news. I'm skeptical about certain things, but the thing to me that gave it away was what you said about the no sound and drones flying. Some of them were flying really low, but what got my attention was that they were flying over our nuclear sites. And when we moved those sites, and wherever we moved them, the drones found them. That's when I thought that this was not really from any nation on the planet, that they could follow our nuclear sites. So, I think 2025 is going to be accelerated as far as being told that we're not alone. We're going to see and hear more phenomenon. And I don't know where our decision makers are on this, but obviously something or someone is forcing their hand, because it's coming out fast and furious now. And it's going to even increase even more.
Yeah.
It's also increasing more. But again, when we had... when we split the atom over Nagasaki and Hiroshima, the sightings increased. And I don't know if people are really aware, and you don't want to dwell on it because, but we're really close to having at least a nuclear exchange, either in the Middle East or in Ukraine. And so it just lends more credence to the fact that maybe not all of our cosmic neighbors, but some of them are really concerned about that, and they are keeping an eye on our nuclear sites. And that's why, we're getting this national security threat. Now, for me, because I'm not military, I see that as, hey, there's some neighbors trying to tell us to dial it back with the nuclear. But if you're in the military, you see that as a threat. You see that as, wait a minute, this is my security's at stake. And you just don't want someone to make a really, really rash decision right now.
I tend to think, a lot of people are thinking blue beam. A lot of people are thinking, just middle of November, they had the disclosure hearings and everything was denied. Now we've got the Pentagon screaming, there's a mothership over us. All the drones are coming from there. And we're like, wait, what? There's a mothership. Yeah. So you are admitting that there's something here.
Well, they have been. They have been.
I don't think what I saw was ET. I thought it was just something else.
Right. And maybe it is, but I'm just saying in general.
No, I know. I don't want anyone to think that I'm claiming that, because I'm not. I don't know what something that like that looks like from another.
So I just think we just have to be
wait and see.
Just wait and see. And use your common sense. and just see what's going on. Like I said, I know here in the United States, we've been told, that we're not alone. The last two congressional hearings, the whistleblowers who've been coming forward. My concern about the whistleblowers is that what's happening now is that most of the whistleblowers, if not all, that we're being told about, they're all military or military intelligence. I want to keep an eye on that, because what if they control the narrative, then people like you or me or ordinary citizens who are contactees or experiencers, we won't have any viable say in anything anyway. And so now then the government gets to tell you what's fake news. The government gets to tell you, they can shape this whole narrative when there have been people saying what they're saying and having contacts way before them. And I tip my hat to Lou Elizondo and Christopher Mellon. I don't want to imply that I'm not grateful for that, but this has been going on. And so, but we were told to stand down, that you're nuts, you're crazy. Now, all of a sudden, when Navy pilots and commercial pilots and military intelligence, now, whoa, all of a sudden, yeah, we would, wait a minute, let's slow it down a bit here. There are other people who have not only had contacts, but had messages exchanged, talking about consciousness or changing that, talking about, and so those voices are silent now. And wow. I want to really keep an eye on that, because if everything gets militarized,
that's right. You
got to be a little careful. Yeah.
Because that, I think that's a really big fear, because there's so many people talking about, back engineering and such, that they've had a long time to do this. And the fact that I think with our star visitors, or those who are already here, I think consciousness is a really big thing. I think we have to evolve ourselves to be able to communicate on a different level. And I think those who are telepathically linked because they're experiencers are already in communication with what's going on, if it's them or if it's not them. So I agree with you. I think there's a whole level. Why has this whole other group gone silent?
Well, because the narrative is being controlled by the networks, and now you don't hear about everyday people having these experiences or messages. It's only that, and that's by design. And I mean, here in the States, I watched it because I watched that more and more in our government. More and more military people hold high posts in the government. You always want to look out for that, because usually, and the way the Constitution was designed, you had private citizens who were, civil servants, and they were holding positions in government, high positions in government, in cabinets and what have you. Now we see a lot of our leaders are ex-military, and that's a different mindset. Than it is. We don't have a lot of diplomacy, for instance, in our foreign policy. And so now, people are listening, oh, we're getting into politics. Well, you're always into politics, and now we're talking geopolitics, because now we're talking about dealing with cosmic visitors. So it's all politics. And those of you who say, I don't get into politics, well, you better learn it, because your life is being shaped by it. So we have exopolitics. We have exopolitics, this is, and you have the geopolitics, and they're all interlinked. They're all interlinked. Our geopolitics is very much connected with our exopolitics, and that's what these hearings are about.
Right. So,
but anyway, we weren't going to.
Oh no, I'm going to segue us in. I'm going to segue us in.
I mean, we can stay with it, but.
Oh yeah, no. We can definitely we can jump around as much as possible. We'll just see where the chat takes us. But for those right now, because you do have, and I know we've touched on this before, and I think it's a good way to segue us, around a little bit. But people of faith who have had these concerns, how will taking yourself, for example, if someone from your congregation comes up and says, Reverend Michael, like something, this is going on, how should we react to this? How should we take this? Should we be fearful? Like, where does God fit into all this? Like, what is your advice? And basing the fact that all faiths are going to have these questions.
Yeah, that's a great question. Well, I would say keep the fear out as much as you can, because once that takes hold, then you're susceptible to conspiracy theories. I'm not talking about all, but you know, conspiracy theories, people telling you what this, that, and the other. You keep the fear out of it. And just know that if you are a person of faith, whatever that faith is, this is when you have to fall back on it. It's easy to be faithful when things are going well in your life. You know, it's real easy to say, oh, I got this together. I meditated today. I've contemplated. And that's great. But it's also in times of uncertainty, because that's your faith. That, and I would take it even beyond the faith. I know I don't have faith. I have experience. I have knowledge. So that to me, that's a different step. But having said that you trust yourself, and whatever that faith is, this is when you lean on it. And if it doesn't do you any good in times of turbulence or uncertainty, then you have to rethink it, right? We've heard the unexamined life is not worth living, but the unexamined faith is not worth having. The second thing I would say is that, try to be around people who share those same beliefs. You don't want to go to someone who you've got to prove they exist, or what are you, crazy? That's not what you need right now. You need some nurturing. When I counsel people, other experiencers about this is what I do. I'm a non-shaming presence. I will listen. I will not judge. I will listen to what you have to say. And also remember that you can still believe and be a contactee or an experiencer, or call it what you will, and still have these experiences and still keep your faith tradition. That's why I keep all these Bibles in my house. I never got rid of them, even when I started, because they are the written testimony of our ancestors telling us what it was like to share the planet with non-human intelligence. That's what those stories are about. Now, there's wisdom and beauty and all that in there, but our ancestors, because no one wants to use this word, but we were invaded. That's, when beings come down and mate with your women or help you, that's an invasion. Now, if you don't like that word, you can say it's an intervention.
Well, what if they were here first? What if we're the invaders? What if we just dropped off here against our will?
But it's not a competition. It's not a competition.
No, but because there's a strong belief that we were sharing space long before we were aware.
But it really doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. Because the point is, whether we were here or not first, we are still being manipulated in some ways. And so that, it's not a well, I was here first. Oh, you were here first. But our whether it's the narratives of Aboriginal peoples, whether it's the Dhammapada, the Buddhist, or the Vedas, or the Mesopotamian text, or obviously the Bible and monotheistic texts, all those stories are telling us, hey man, people from the sky came here and we were invaded. And some of them were for us, some of them were not, and some of them were here just to observe. And we're writing this down. We wrote it down. So you can know this is what we went through. And this is how our religion started. So if you put that in a context, then you don't have to get too anxious, because we're going through what our ancestors went through, where their governments were saying to them, no, 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 your allegiance is to us. We will keep you safe. We will tell you. Well, this has been happening all the way through human history. Mm-hmm. The Jewish scriptures did this. It happened in Christianity in the second, third century, right after Constantine. It happened in the 5th and 6th century BCE with the Hebrew scriptures. And by that I mean, these stories are in, these stories are out. It's not going to be all these other gods. There's going to be one God, one temple, one king, one high priest. Why? Because it's easier to rule that way. Mm-hmm. Not a big secret.
Yes.
And so, this is what we're doing. So I would say, again, don't, like you hear all through Jesus talks about and other great teachers, but fear not. Don't be afraid. But just be vigilant. Watch, study, take care of yourself. Keep your heart open as much as possible. You can navigate these times. Real quickly, I live in Asheville, and we had the hurricane back in September. And, we came through okay. Some people lost their houses, some their lives. And my point is that, but we're rebuilding. We're rebuilding. And we forget that, these things happen all the time. Just sometimes they happen in Nepal. They happen far, far away, but it happened here, and people freaked out, and I get it, because we were in the eye of the storm. But you must remember that our ancestors went through the same thing: pole shifts, continents drifting, tornadoes, floods, asteroids hitting. Our human beings have been doing this for years. Those who don't survive, we grieve. We grieve. And then what happens? We rebuild. We rebuild. And that's what's going on. And so we will rebuild. And so you don't have to fear, but this is the time to really let your faith work for you. And if it's not working for you, then you really need to revisit it. And I'm talking about any faith tradition, any spiritual tradition. If it's not working for you, because this is the time you need it, not when things are going well. It's easy to be spiritual. And I don't mean that like you put on a coat. Either you are or you aren't. It's something that you are, not something you put on. But hold on to what works for you, because it's going to be some ups and downs. And but if you have your center, you'll survive it. You may even thrive in it.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just had to get a sip of water. I'm
Yes.
hacking. It's getting late.
Yes.
The body's getting tired.
It is.
That's
it is.
why. Yeah.
Well, at least you got some tea, because when you get sick like that and you got to talk, then you get dried out.
Yeah.
You got if you got a humidifier, you better put it on.
Not in here.
No, I have one next to my bed.
Yeah, not in the office. No.
Yeah. I hope that helped.
Oh, it does. Because
Fresh ginger in your water. Leave it there all day. Takes the inflammation down.
Just keep going. I just read a lot. I don't interact a lot on social media. I don't spend a lot of time there. But when I do, I just like to read the feeds. And I like to see what people are thinking. And there's so many. There's a mix of so many things going on right now. And I think to myself, this is a time of year where people should come together. And I think that there's a lot of diversity with a lot of different faiths. some thinking, nope, you shouldn't like this, you shouldn't like that. And I don't want to get us flagged, so I'm not going to get into, all of the different conflict going on over faith of Christmas itself. But there's a lot going on right now in different parts of the world that I've been reading. And I'm like, this is terrible. This is something where we should be feeling enlightened, because we're from all walks of life, but we all believe in something.
Yeah.
We all celebrate at different times of the year. And, I just think it's really harsh that this holiday has been ruined for so many people, because we have so many people, that are new to all of these different countries, because there was mass immigration that kind of went all over the place over the last year or two. And it's like, there's so much conflict. I'm like, should this not be a time where we should put aside a lot of differences and just try to embrace and respect one another's views, at least on that?
Well,
my question to you.
Well, Michelle, you're my sister and I love you, but you use the word "should" about 5 or 6 times. Get rid of that.
Well, I do, because I try to be very.
No, sorry, I was just. She's
No.
trying. It's a tough time here.
Yeah, but you got to get rid of "should," because you're shooting all over people, and you don't want to do that, because there are no shoulds. We got 8 billion people on the planet. It is not. It's just not possible that all these people are going to do the same thing at the same time.
No.
And so you got to put, because you know what, you'll always be frustrated. So the first thing I'm going to say is stop expecting you from other people. The second thing I'm going to say is, this is not new. This is not new. That we have the technology now, and we had the technology before, but this is not new. Name me one time on planet Earth that what you're saying is true. That everybody just came together and we all just put aside. That doesn't happen.
We didn't all have to hear about it all these other times. Now it's pretty much out there.
Okay, but that's
right?
really not the issue. The issue is that what you have to do is to let the world be what it is, but you be what you need to be.
I'm not speaking of me specifically. I just want to set the record straight on that.
But I am.
Right.
And I'm also using the universal you.
Right.
The Christians call it the peace that passes all understanding. The Buddhists call it something else. Everybody has a name for it. But there's a peace that you can have with you, no matter what's going on around you, when you're not so concerned about what you can't control.
Yeah, that's a tough one for me.
It's a tough one for everybody, but all great spiritual teachers tell you about this.
It's understood.
No, I'm just saying, if you go back and read the story of the Buddha, if you go back and you read the story of Jesus, if you go back and read the story of Teresa of Avila, if you go back and read, they're aware of what's going on around them. And they're trying to make their world a better place by living their values, but they're not telling you to go out and try to change it because you can't.
It's so sad because so many faiths at this time of the year all believe in the commonality of light. So I think that's what you were trying to get at, Michelle. Like, why can't they just, like there's paganism in Christianity, the Jewish menorah, it's about light, the Diwali. Our Thanksgiving is the festival of light, like the season of light, rather than saying the season of Hanukkah, the season of Christmas.
No, exactly. But instead, I'm seeing people defiling,
They're doing it right now.
That's what I mean. Like, this is some of the things I'm seeing. They're
Okay.
protesting in the
Okay.
streets. They're defiling.
But that's okay.
They're new
That's
to
okay.
this.
Well, but that doesn't have. Listen, it depends on how you look at it. I had a Christmas Eve service. No one was defiling anything.
No,
for that hour or two. So what are you going to focus on? You're going to stop people from marching in the streets? Are you going to stop that, or can you focus on the good blessings that you have and how you can play that forward?
Well, I'm a light worker, so for me, it hits me in a little bit of a different place.
Okay. So protesting, but that's a choice.
They're hurting people.
Okay, so I will say this, guys. You got two choices. You can focus on that, or you can try to keep your light shining. Because as I said, that has always gone on. And it always will, to a great extent.
Yeah. I think it's new to this part of the world, though, that type of
aggression.
I'm trying to do it without getting yanked from YouTube. If you saw a video today of a certain shopping center in the city near me, you would be quite surprised at how bad it is here.
I don't think so. I don't think I would. I don't. I have seen things. I've had people murdered in my family. I have seen friends shot. But it's not about that. All I can say is this, because we're going to be beating a dead horse. You have a choice on what your focus is, and so you just make the choices that are better for you. I live in the same world. I live in the same world you live in. My heart is full of joy. But that's a choice.
I want to fix everything. I want to fix everything. But my thing is, I have fear to go out now, and I fear for my daughter. Not good at all.
How's that working for you?
Not good at all. But I'll take 100 people in my house and feed them, but I don't want to have to go anywhere.
Well, but I'm just saying, how's it working for you?
But it's really scary when you walk out the door and you don't know if you're going to be raped or smugged or stabbed.
And you know what? I don't know. I don't know. I'm not going to try and change that. I'm just trying to give you some suggestions, and the rest is up to you. I can't live like that. I have a daughter here, and it's just part of life. It's just where we live now. And so you can live in the fear and that, or you can choose something else. But those are your choices.
Sometimes I think I would just been in the work too long. The reason why I got into assisting missing children was because I do have a family member who was abducted and murdered at a young age. And I think that's why, that's what I did. And I focused it and put it on that way. And then I took a break when I met Michelle, and she showed me that I can help people in a different way. And now I need a break from all of it, because
then maybe you need to take
that I am is falling apart, like being shredded right now.
Then maybe you need to take the break.
I have, but in the same respect, it's really horrible, because this is something that as Canadians, we never really had to see much of. And now it's just been a lot for us. I think
Amelia's trying to say we've been sheltered.
We've been sheltered. It's been a different kind of life. And we've never seen this kind of hatred.
Right. I'm a world traveler. I've seen all kinds of mix of everything.
That I know, but when you come home, right, Michelle, you're like, wait a minute. It's adjusting to it.
I always try to take the best piece out of every situation. And this is what has always kept me grounded, I suppose, taking the best, out of every situation. The type of work that I've done has been, dealing with very dark things. And even out of that, I've been able to take the absolute light from each one of those situations. So I like things to flow nicely in my existence, and I do my part to try to make the world a better place preferably because, I was a part of it in one way or another. In the end, I will have left my mark, kind of thing, I guess, is the easiest way to put it. So getting on to something a little bit lighter, I believe that there, especially in a time like this, a lot of people, and I can speak for myself because, I've lost both my parents in under 15 months, so if you would have said to me, oh, this was going to happen, I would have said, no, absolutely not. But, I still forge ahead and I still make the best out of those situations, and I still celebrate because they would want me to celebrate the holidays. They would want me to still keep going and so on. So because a lot of people are going through that, a lot of people grieve this time of year. A lot of people, get depressed this time of year for many different reasons. The holidays always seems to be a difficult time, not just this holiday, but holidays in general. So how would you think, since we're talking about, not just, spirituality, but inspiration, how would you feel? How would you inspire somebody when they're feeling so low?
I would say this. I don't try to inspire people, so I don't know how. I can't go in with.
You're just inspirational, Michele.
No.
You just have your ways.
No. I think that just being in the moment with them, because I don't, because then you get into fixing, and that's not the role. At least for me, I'm going to inspire you. No, if it happens, that's fine. But if not, you get in the way. I think that allowing people to be where they are and to be there with them, whether that's supporting them, being right in front of them, checking in on them, because it's really important that people realize that what you're going through, you're not alone. And I'm not going to try and make you smile when you don't feel like smiling. I may say some reminders depending on what the context is. But, it's okay to be down. It's okay to be depressed. And I'm going to be here for you. And I would even say, tell me how I can be here for you. What would be helpful for you that I could do for you? I think that the other way is how you wind up burning out. Because if you're going to fix everybody and you're going to change it, the other thing is again, there's a context. I have a friend, not a friend, she's a member of my congregation. Her son in his 40s had a stroke and died sitting at a table by himself. And so, what could I say? I said, you have your community here, but also, the first year is going to be really hard because the first holidays are always hard because they're gone. And this is what you can expect. And you don't have to go through this alone. And so those are the kinds of things. I would lend there's a grief support group you can go to. There's help for you. And so that's where I would come from, because of, sharing resources, those kinds of things. Because obviously some people may be depressed and they may need medication for that depression. I'm not a professional. I'm not going to be able to do that. But most importantly, just to let them know that you're not going through this alone. My ex-wife had seasonal affective disorder, SAD. There's nothing we could do about it. She had it every year. And so what we had to do, we went places sunny. We did things like that. But we did things to help. I feel now that for me, that's the best way to help, as opposed to, I'm just going to take this on and make this better. Sometimes that helps, talk counseling. Sometimes it doesn't. And so each situation, there's not a formula, because if it was, nobody'd be depressed, because you could just say, well, if you do this, voila, So meeting people at their map of the world, knowing your limitations going into the situation and knowing theirs. I think that's helpful and healthy for both parties.
Yeah.
Maybe donate your time, for people who are just looking for something to do. I've known people through the years who've been depressed, and they found great joy in, let's say, going to a homeless shelter or a soup kitchen and just donating some of their time, giving back to their community in times like that. So
that's a great thing to because you can get so caught up in your own stuff that you forget that there are people who have it just as bad or worse, and so that gets you out of yourself, as you said, Michelle. The soup kitchen, the volunteer work, and again, that's appropriate for some that may not work. For some, I just can't get through this. Okay, let's talk. Here's some resources you can use. Here's some things a number you could call. I think those kinds of things. But for people who just get, you just get that kind of depression, you're on planet Earth, you're looking at everything, there's wars and rumors of wars and people acting a fool, then you can just remind people of, don't let the things you want make you forget the things you have. Don't remember when the things you said you wanted in your life you didn't have, but now you have them. And that's what I was talking about earlier. It's just a shift. The Course in Miracles says you don't have to change the world. You just have to change your mind about the world. And that's not an ostrich mentality. I'm not an ostrich. I'm very much aware of what's going on, even though I'm being misinformed and disinformed, because that's what governments do. But I go through my life, I've been fortunate, but it's also what I choose to do, that I love life. I love life. And even when it's not going great. And I've had my ups and downs, and I'll have more. I've been divorced twice. I'm in my third marriage. I had some people who were murdered. I have a brother-in-law who was murdered. I had, but it's life. And it happens. And that's when you're on planet Earth, that's just the way it is. Maybe somewhere else it's different. But I'm loving being here. I'm sure my friends who are not here now would say, hey, man, enjoy it while you're there. And so that's my attitude. And if anything is inspirational, people will feed on that. But that's just who I am. I'm not trying to be. And hopefully someone may say, I like his attitude. I like his style of recovery. I want to, but other than that, what else you going to do? You're in the game until you're not.
True enough.
Yeah.
True
you're in
enough.
the game, and then when you're dead, you're in another game. But that's it. And so, I hear you about being sheltered. Well, nations are sheltered. Human beings are sheltered. But now you're not sheltered anymore. Now you're waking up. And waking up is painful. But waking up is part of spiritual growth. And so you get to choose love or fear. And
so
I got kids too.
That. Yeah, let's talk about that. Let's talk about spiritual growth and evolution. We are here.
Well, we have been. That's this whole hour has been about that. In my mind.
But there's a lot of people. No, absolutely, and there's a lot of people out there who, I guess I've heard people say things like, "Well, I don't recognize the sign. How do I know if I'm actually awakening, or how do I know if I'm evolving?" And I'm just like, well, how do you feel? Is where I go to, because when I know, I'm awakening, or when I had my awakening sort of thing, you just sort of look at the world a little differently. And when you keep evolving, it's not just something that you evolve one time. You really just keep going, and you just keep improving yourself.
I heard a therapist say it this way. It was in a context. When you're doing things in your life that you don't want to do, whether it's the company you keep, whether it's the job you have, You know, when you're doing things in life you don't want to do, then you realize that something has to change. So those things can be great teachers. And when you're starting to come out of your comfort zone a bit, when you're starting to do things in life that you want to do, when you're starting to be the person that you want to be, then you can see that, wait a minute, something has shifted in me. That, you know, my old friends are leaving, and it was, you know, it was depressing, but I got new friends. Your world just starts to shift. You become more aware. That's what it means to be woke. Not what we're hearing now, but that's what the Buddha talked about. People said, "Are you a god?" No. You know, "Are you a holy man?" No. You know, they more questions. They said, "Well, what are you?" He said, "I'm awake." And that just means a shift in consciousness just means that you're more aware. You're more aware of yourself, your limitations, your growth. That's when you start to know, hey, I'm evolving. I'm more aware. I start feeling that I'm interconnected. I don't feel like it's just me. You know, I feel like what I do, that I'm part of an ecosystem. I'm part of humanity. There's an interconnectedness. I start making choices and decisions, not just based on what Michael wants, but how will that decision affect those around me? That's the shift that you have in consciousness. And when you get it, that people may not understand that. People may drop out of your life. But, you know, other people will come in and things change. Like the Course says, don't change the world, change your mind about the world. And when you do that, the world changes because you see things differently. That's when you know that your path has shifted. I'm more aware. I'm more aware of my actions and how they reverberate. I'm seeking more community. I have a circle of friends. I volunteer. You know, maybe I stopped chasing the dollar. I'm doing work now that's more fulfilling. I don't make as much, but I feel like I'm leaving a legacy. I'm a healer. I'm an artist. I'm a painter. I'm doing things differently. Those are some of the things that will let you know. And obviously, like you said, Michelle, you feel differently. You feel lighter.
You do.
You feel lighter.
And the sad part of, you know, I've seen myself shift quite a few times, you know, throughout my life. And then you find that you just, you know, not everybody follows along. We all shift differently and at different times when we're ready. Some people see it, some people never see it. And I find myself sometimes going through that mourning a little bit, kind of like, you know, like that you don't have the certain connections anymore. And people go, you know, they leave your life. If you're lucky, you know, they come back at some point. But it's, you know, it's hard sometimes to find someone you can consistently say, yes, this person's been a part of my life for all of these years while I have been going through these transitions. You know, sometimes you just lose people along the way.
Yeah, that's called letting go.
Yeah,
that's why Buddhism is such a powerful philosophy. Because what happens is we want things to stay the same, and life has changed. And once you can get it, I mean, really get it, not just intellectually, that life has changed. I'm going to change. You know, I'm going to change. My friendships will change. I will grow old and die. You know, once you get it, that makes life that much more precious because, you know, this is it. But life has changed. And what people want to do is they want to hold on and they want things to be the same and the person to be the same and all through life. And that's just it's not intelligent anymore. You can do that, but you're fighting against life. Yes, I have friends that I've had for 40 years, and yes, but people grow, they change. Maybe they outgrow me, I outgrow them. But that's if Buddhism it doesn't tell you anything. Well, Stoicism as well, is that life has changed, and once you get that, you can live a more authentic life with less stress. But we are taught, not just in the West, but mostly here, that it has to stay the same, and that's where you get attachments, and that's where you have suffering. The Buddhism says, I suffer because I get attached to things having to be the way I want them to be. And you can tell when you're evolving because you have to give up being right. When you can give up being right, you know that, hey, I have shifted. And that you allow people to be in who they are, you know, and you can preach till you're blue in the face, but a person has to want to do, and it doesn't make them bad, but you know when to step back and say, okay, that's their journey, and I got to be on my journey. And those are the things, so the little things that irked you, they don't matter anymore. And that's another way you can see where you've grown. Because, you know, as I said at the top of the show, at least for me, one of the things that brought me some inner peace, and I don't do it all the time, but I do it a lot more. I give up being right, and I don't have to, I just really stop worrying about things I can't control. And my life has become simpler. My relationships have become more authentic. I just allow people to be where they are. And that means I can be where I am. And I don't try to fix everything. And my life has just blossomed. And I have less stress because of that.
Yeah, and
but it took me a while to get there.
Sometimes not having a person in your life that you thought was so important to you is a blessing as well, because it can let you grow, because they might be hindering. Well, I learned that from Michelle. That's why she's going,
I know, it's true.
That's my bubbles. She's like, that's my, I was in a different place when I met her. And, you know, and you realize that when you go through things, and I always said with every death that I had to go, I had suffered a lot of loss by the time I was 33. I had suffered a lot of loss in my life, but I didn't fall into it, so to speak. I kept busy by taking care of other people. That's how I kind of got through that. But I also learned so much from it. And I always said, you know how they say there's a silver lining in every cloud? Well, it's real. It really is real. You know, every death taught me something that made my life better. And I thanked them for it. So that was how I was able to move forward, was saying, thank you for being a part of my life. I was so blessed and so fortunate. You taught me this. You taught me how to live better this way. And that's how I honor them in my life, and continuing to share them always with my daughter for the ones she didn't know, so that you're keeping them alive, and you keep on going for them, so to speak. You know, like my mom, my brother, my dad, you know, my cousin, like that kind of stuff. You keep going for them, and you live. My brother taught me how to live through his death, if that makes any sense. He taught all three of us left behind how to live through his death.
And I think also people come into your life to give you that lesson.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's nothing more, you know, than just to give you that experience, whether it helps you evolve or whether you don't, you know, is irrelevant, I guess. But, you know, sometimes things are so short-lived, whether it's just a friendship that dissolves, or a relationship that dissolves, or whether it's the physical loss of that individual, you know, through passing. You know, they're just there long enough to give you, you know, or maybe you're there for them. Right?
Yeah.
So, I don't know. It's just, it's an interesting journey being here on good old planet Earth. So, you know,
For sure.
Yeah. So
is it awful to say I don't want to come back?
the transition. Yes.
Yeah.
It
It's not awful to say that at all.
No, I don't want to go through high school again. Even this last time I knew I've been here before. It was so bored.
Mm,
Oh my gosh.
but hey, it's 10:10. That's a good thing. It's just like
Those angel numbers.
Yeah, angel, spiritual numbers. It's always a good thing. So I don't know. So going into 2025.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here we are.
Do you want to do it like a foot on a banana peel, or do you gracefully make your way into it?
I think, the old Chinese, they call it a curse, but it may not be, but may you live in interesting times. And we certainly do. And I know that, it's been a year, always, I try to do this. I try not to wait till the end of the year to do this, but I do take the time during the course of the year. But at the end of the year, just looking at the trajectory of the year, where my shortcomings were, where my areas of growth were, just kind of looking at life. And I think that's always good to check in. And, I think we live in exciting times. And two things can be true at the same time. We are on the brink, I think, of at least a nuclear exchange. We could get hit by a great rock from out of the sky. The climate change is getting really out of hand. We may have reached a point of no return. I don't know. You hear some scientists say yes, no. But with all that being said, I'm going into 2025 with great expectations. I'm going into 2025 with some goals I'd like to reach, some personal goals, some family-related goals, some career goals. And because again, I go back, I can't control those things that I mentioned. Putin's not calling me, or, the White House is not calling me, and that kind of thing. And I don't know if I'd be any help anyway. But I still have the life I have. And so obviously bills have to be paid, those things, groceries have to be made. But also that I have friends, I have people in my life who love me and I love them. And I want to cultivate those relationships. And there's some career goals I'd like to have. And so that's for me, that's what you focus on. If you start taking big bites, especially again around things you can't control, you're going to feel overwhelmed, you're going to feel depressed, you're going to want to fix stuff that you can't fix, then you're going to get upset because you can't fix it, and then that's going to bring you down, then your fear level goes up, and it's like, why? I remember I went to one of Marianne Williamson's lectures. This is 100 years ago when I was a deeper student of the course, and I pick out certain points of wisdom from but I remember she would say that people get up, they pick up newspapers, or they just do these fear-making things. Then they pour caffeine on top of it, and then they wonder why their day is so bad.
I pour caffeine on it all day.
and then so you're freaking out. And then you got now you're really, what's going to happen here? And you just, again, going back to the top of the show, where we have choices. And you can say, I'm going to read something inspirational, whether it's from a scripture or from a motivational speaker. I'm going to read something every day that's going to set the tone for my day. Or I'm going to read
affirmations.
I'm going to read some poetry. Or you know what I mean? Or I'm going to view a piece of art. You have things that you can do to shape the course of your day. You can sit there and visualize the kind of day you want to have in your meditations. And so there are ways to combat all the noise in life, all the distractions, but you have to do it. Again, it's about changing here.
It's your perspective.
It's changing your consciousness here and here. But if you fill yourself with what's going on, did you see about all those kids who just got shot and you saw they did this and do that? And I'm not saying you don't keep aware of that, but if you let that eat at you like a cancer, because part of your diet is not just what food that you put in, it's what you digest in your consciousness. It's what you let in.
Everything's balance.
And you have to say, okay, that's terrible. Not unless you're going to write a check or you're going to go there and fix it. Then you have to say, how do I keep the life that I have and still be able to deal with this stuff? Because it's, when you're on an airplane, right, and they tell you what to do, and what do they tell you about the life, the mask? Put yours on first.
Yeah.
Secure yours oxygen first before you go off to help somebody else.
Yeah.
Right? And AA, stay in your 12 steps, stay in your own lane. Well, you can use that metaphor for all of life. Because you know what? Sometimes, it's good to serve. It's good to fix if you can, to help. But sometimes we do that so we don't look at ourselves. See, because if I'm helping you, I don't have to look at my stuff. Because, see, I'm so busy helping everybody. And sometimes I use that, I can use that so I don't have to look at, Michael, you got some shadows, so you need to be looking at that. But no, I'm helping everybody else. See, I'm a good person. I'm a spiritual person. See, I'm helping everybody. And that could be the last thing that they needed.
That's not the right way. Yeah, I agree with you on that thing. Because I always see those posts where they say, if you're doing the yoga, the meditation, and the affirmations, but you're not taking care of yourself, you're just as bad as everyone else. I'm like, oh my God, you don't have the right to criticize the way other people cope and deal with things. My thing is for me personally, being in the field that I work in, it's so hard not to want to fix, not to want to help when there's a missing child. Like, I will go to whatever extent I have to if I know I can help someone. And that's the hard part. The letting go is the hardest part. So that creates a lot of turmoil in my life, and it creates a lot of anxiety and depression. And I think a lot of people who are in any type of work or have that in them to always help other people do go through those types of little roller coasters when you're trying to take time out for yourself.
Well, you lose yourself.
Well, I know I lost my health, but I don't know. It's just strange. When I'm not there, I always feel like, oh my gosh, if I was there, I could have helped. I could have done this. Or when I see something and I hear about a case and I think, oh, if they only contact, that goes through my head. And it's not saying I'm the only person, because I'm not the only person who can help. There's lots of people out there that do that. It's just for me. It's control. Yeah. Never mind. I went through it. I have great perspective, but I just, can't manage my own life.
On that note, why don't we just do our sponsor and station ID?
Sure. Awesome. Then I can forget about everything else and just think of caffeine.
Yeah.
Caffeine, why, you say?
Beauty.
You are listening to The Outer Realm with MicheleDerocher and Amelia Pisano, coming to you live from the beautiful city of New Orleans on 107.7 FM radio, as well as on the Gulf Coast on 105.3 FM. We're live on Roku TV, Rumble, YouTube, X, Facebook group pages. Pick a streaming platform you use. We're there. Alexa Prime. If you're searching us, search United Public Radio Network. Thank you, Joe Montaldo, our producer and the proprietor of the network, for having us. And then you look up The Outer Realm. Our special guest is our dear friend, and we love him so much, Reverend Michele J. Carter. We wouldn't end this year any differently. We're so honored and so happy that you're here. And on that same note of gratitude, we have to give a huge thank you to Folgers Coffee for supporting us from our first episode with UPRN. Thank you so much for your continued support, sponsoring our show. We absolutely adore you. Our fabulous banner and our promo media is courtesy of Steve McGinnis. He's a horror illustrator and an artist who also creates custom commissioned pieces. You can find him on Facebook. Thank you, Steve. Our intro that you heard, if you were here at the top of the show or if you're tuning in just now, is courtesy of Dr. Snick, the Sonic Surgeon, aka Justin Snicker, award-winning composer, vocalist, and musician. You can find his music on Amazon and Bandcamp. Stream on any platform. Find Dr. Snick on Facebook and Instagram. Thank you, Justin. Lastly, if you're watching this episode right now or you're tuning in wherever you are, smash that like button, hit subscribe and notifications so you never miss an episode. Kindly share us with your friends and family. We're trying to grow our social media platforms because we know you're listening. We see the ratings, but we really need to see your support. Please smash the like button. You don't even have to hit the notifications if it's annoying you. It's okay. Just smash that like button. This way we can continue bringing the best in their fields here just for you.
And for those on X and Rumble, we can see your comments. I'm watching. I know how many are on each platform right now. So please feel free to comment. It will come right up here into the soundboard. And then we can just flash it up the way we've been seeing everybody in on YouTube. YouTube's always very active. So we're very, very grateful. Yeah. So anyway, poor like button always getting beat on. Oh my God.
Smash it.
Yes. Smash it. I know. I know. Somebody's medicated over there too. You're welcome. Poor guy. Just like once again, you brought the plague into the house. Thank you. You're welcome. No problem. Got some time off now.
That's it.
You know, what are you going to do?
It's that time of year.
I know. It is. So, Michael, we want to go from here. You decide. We've been sort of leading the way here. You're always full of, I know you say, no, I'm not inspirational. Yes, you are.
Yeah, you are.
Every time everything is just always upbeat. Everything is just always feel good conversation. And you have a way of putting things out there that people feel inspired.
Okay. I'm gonna okay, let's talk about Christmas.
Okay.
My favorite time of year.
Mine too.
Mm-hmm. People are nicer.
Christmas, they do appear that way to me too.
Yeah,
Christmas
for a week.
is about Christmas. Yeah, yes.
For a
and then,
week.
Yeah. Well,
Done.
It's like after the hurricane, man.
Yeah.
I mean, people were nice, and then we somehow we go back into our silos. You know, I'm thinking about Christmas, and I'm thinking about how it resonates with our lives. I don't black, white, rich, poor, gay, straight, Muslim, whatever. Because it's about a man, a woman, animals, and the birth of a child. That's what that story is really about. And when we look at this baby Jesus, Emmanuel, Yeshua, call him what you will, that baby represents each and every one of us because we all came into the world that same way. And when you read his story, whether you're reading the story of the Buddha, but we're talking about Jesus right now, he grew up and he was threatened. The old order was threatened by him. He grew up. He was a different child. He, so he was threatened to the older people like we were. He had new ideas. He was very strong in who he was. Weren't we like that at one time? We were like that when people would say, well, who do you think you are? Where'd you get an idea like that? You can't come in, don't come in this house, young lady, with an idea like that. Don't come in this house, young man, with an idea like that. Where'd you get that from? Mm-hmm. So he was changing the old order. That's what we all did. And then from 13 years old, people marveled at him, but then you don't hear anything about him. Now, we could argue that he was in India or whatever, but what we know, and some people will say, well, no, that can't, but what we know is that those years, those formative years, he was changing, finding out who he was, what was his mission, how was he going to make these connections. Well, didn't we do that? During that time, those years where maybe we pulled back, we were going inward. Who are we? What did I want to do with my life? Do I want to get married? Do I want to get married to this person? What do I want to do? I'm experimenting. I'm growing. It's part of the spiritual journey. What I'm trying to say is that journey is the journey that we all take. And then he dies. He gets in trouble with the authorities. They are threatened by his new ideas, and they kill him. And then he comes back. He comes back different. He comes back more powerful. He comes back with a deeper understanding. He comes back with this consciousness of oneness, and then he goes. He's out in the world. And he's spreading that. He was doing that when he was alive as well. But what about us? When the old order, when a part of us had to die, to get to be who we are now, we had to change. We had to give up. We had to have some losses. We had to go through some fears. Remember, Jesus had his friend Lazarus had died. John, his cousin, John the Baptist, was beheaded. Things were getting a little dicey. And he kept pressing forward. And that's what we do. That's what we do with our lives. And that's what we had to do. We die and we're reborn literally every day. But we had to go through those trials and tribulations, the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune that Shakespeare talks about, in order to become the Michelle I need to be, the Amelia I need to be. When you look at that story, and I could put in more details, but I'm not doing a sermon here, but I'm just trying to tell you that when you look at that story from that perspective, that's the shero's journey. That's the hero's journey. You can do the same thing with Buddha, right? His parents tried to, his dad, who was a warlord, they came from a little bit of means. He tried to shelter him. Remember, they don't want you to keep him from the ugliness of the world. We talked about that at the top of the show. He was living a sheltered life. And he comes out. And he comes out of the palace and he sees the homeless. He sees the prostitute. He sees the beggar. He sees the corruptness. And he has to change. He decides, I'm going to be a holy man. I'm not going to follow in my dad's footsteps. I'm not going to be a prince. Well, he was a prince, but I'm not going to be royalty. And then he morphs and transforms. He has to go through those trials, and he comes out the other side enlightened. He comes out as the Buddha, the awakened one. Well, isn't that what we're doing? Isn't that what we come out with? We came into the world as a child, and we threatened the old order, our ideas. Michelle, don't come in the house with this. Who are you hanging out with? Amelia, don't bring those ideas in this house, young lady. Michael, what's going on? What are you, crazy? And then you go through your teenage years, and then you're trying to find out, who am I? What am I? Am I gay? Am I straight? Am I going to be this? Am I going to be that? These are just some of the things. And we're peeling the onion the whole time. The caterpillar's becoming a butterfly, baby. And that's where we are. That's the Christmas story.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so I tell that story to put in perspective that we are not, when we suffer, which Buddhism says is the natural part of life. Life is hard. But he says we become what we think.
Mm.
Jesus talks about that too. Because thoughts are things. And so when you're constantly coming from fear, they had kids. They had kids back then. They lived under Roman Empire. Their kid could wind up being on a cross or beheaded. Rome was going through, it was hard living in Roman times and any time.
Mm-hmm.
So when you go back, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. You can put fear aside because your ancestors said, this is how you can do this.
Mm-hmm.
We lived in those times too. We know what it's like to have our daughter go out in the world, or our son. You don't know if they're going to make it back, or there may not be a world left for them. That's not new.
Mm-hmm.
But when you get very self-involved, and that you get to think that this is only happening to me, and it's not.
Mm-hmm.
It happens all over.
Mm-hmm.
And as long as you're in a body, you have to learn to cope with that. Spiritual teachers say, I can't make you come out of the world, but I can give you some suggestions and maybe some teachings that can help you live in the world with joy, with security, with love. And it doesn't mean that you won't lose anybody. It doesn't mean that maybe your child will die. It doesn't mean any of that. It doesn't mean you won't drown in a flood or a big rock won't fall. It doesn't mean that. But what it means is that where you are now in the moment, that is truly what life is. But you have to change this.
The mindset.
You have to change this.
Perspective.
You have to change your consciousness to have peace.
Mm-hmm.
And none of those teachers said, I can stop the Roman Empire from crucifying. None of those teachers said, Buddha didn't say, I can stop the spread of what Hinduism is doing with the caste system and what he can speak out against it, but they couldn't take that away. They just said, I can show you how to live fully, authentically, to love wastefully. I can show you how to do that and still have peace. But you have to want it. And sometimes people stay stuck in stuff because they don't want to change. It's like being in a bad marriage or relationship. I remember when I was in a very dysfunctional marriage, my second marriage, and it took me 10 years to get out of that one until I finally got it. That I'm expecting someone else to change. They're not going to change, and I can't change them, so I had to change. And it was great because I would tell people, and they would go, right, Michael, she's not doing right by you. She's not doing this and that by you. And that went on until one day I got it. I said, well, wait a minute. Then it's really not about her. It's about me. Why am I still here? Why am I thinking this? Yeah. Why am I thinking this way?
We forget about the enabler.
But I didn't want to do that.
Yeah.
So again, I go back. You got to get rid of the fear. It's like Morpheus said, get rid of the fear, doubt, neo, and the disbelief. And that doesn't mean it doesn't come back, but I'm afraid, Michael. Michael's afraid. Michael, you're making decisions out of fear, Michael, because when you're aware, you don't just react, you'll start knowing this is fear. And I can't let fear is the enemy of growth. Fear is the enemy of growth. And there's some things you should fear. I'm not only a fool, but but I'm just saying. But just the everyday life. What are you going to be afraid of? You're going to die eventually. Mm. So why not make the best of this?
Mm. A lot of it is erasing everything we've ever learned.
Conditioning.
Yes. Mm. Not all of it, but some of it.
Well, some of it. It's
changing. It's changing your consciousness. Again, Wayne Dyer. If you change the way you look at things, the things you look at begin to change.
Yes.
So I can get up tomorrow and I can say I may get blown up, I may get hit by a car, there may be a nuclear exchange, or I can get up and say, you know what, I got some things I need to do tomorrow. I got to run some errands, having a little get together. My daughter's here. Just wonderful. Had a wonderful Christmas. Just finished some new Ancient Alien stuff. I can change my mind and be there and see the sweetness of life. I know about the not so sweet, and I'm going to continue to have that. That's what it means. But it's the consciousness. Like, who was it? Abraham Lincoln. You can complain because roses have thorns, or you can complain that thorns have roses. I mean, it's, it's
some of the most beautiful roses are all thorns.
you have to decide. We have more control over our lives than we like to admit, but most people don't like that. Most people want someone to tell them what to do, not to take responsibility or accountability. And this is where we are. But you can't change that. You can only change your reaction to it.
Yeah, it's hard to teach people pride gets in the way, right, of accountability. And then if you are being led, without me getting into the political part, by, something that doesn't take accountability ever, it just has a ripple effect. So in the same way, we believe, Michelle and I have talked about this so many times, about vibration and frequency and raising your vibration so that it's a ripple effect and that we lift each other.
Well, I mean, I believe everything is about vibration and frequency.
Yeah.
That's just, for example, music, the universal language. Vibration, frequency. And it does. It makes it when you get, the term, all the positive vibes, high vibes. This is exactly what it is, and it does make a really big difference. It really does.
Yeah, and you can't do that if you're stuck in fear.
No, music's a big one for me. Today I watched something so phenomenal that I forgot I had seen this before, and they were using music to treat a tumor and showed you how the tumor was disappearing with the frequency of the music.
100%.
I was just like, I've seen this before. How could I know that? It was shown to me for a reason. A reminder.
But Wayne makes a really good point. He has said this before. If you change the shape of a magnet and sprinkle iron filings on the paper over the magnet, the filings have no choice but to follow the new shape of the magnet. If we change, people around us will also. I tend to think that maybe they will feel drawn, like you are what you put out, or what you put out comes back to you.
And who you're with.
That sort of thing.
How many mothers said that to us? You are who you are with. Be careful.
Yes.
It's the same thing, right?
Well, it's a law of attraction. The law of attraction.
Yeah.
It is. Football players don't hang out with chess players. You hang out with people who are on the same frequency. But I would add something else, though. When you, again, and this is just me. Now, I want to be clear. But when you do those things, a watch pot never boils. So if you're doing those things to make change, to change somebody else, you're always going to be disappointed, because they may not want to change. They may not change as fast as you want to change. You do good because good is good to do. There are no strings attached. But if you're doing good, if you're saying, you know, I'm raising my frequency and I'm doing all these things and these people don't seem to be getting it or whatever, then you defeat the purpose, because that's not really change, that's control. You do good because good is, I have a church and my church is growing, but I tell you, I do not worry about who doesn't like what I say, because if they leave, they'll come back. I mean, there's always someone who'll come in.
Yeah.
I just don't walk the world that way. And I'm free because I'm not beholden. But if I was, I couldn't do what I do because I'm always worried about, did they like that sermon? Did they get anything about that? Did they do?
That comes from ego. That comes from ego, though, when you think like that. Yeah.
I just do what I have to do, and the things change. And if they don't change, they may change and I don't even know it. But I'm not, I don't get into that. And also I'm older. And so I try to be, one of the things about leading, you know, walking a spiritual journey is, how do I spend my energy? How do I use my energy? And I don't use my energy the same way I did because I don't have time, but I'm smarter now. I know, you know, if I'm talking to someone and I get a lot of resistance, I just pull back and go, you'll be okay. You'll find your way. Or, you know, I'll take my little naps, as we had talked about. But I use my energy differently because I have a shorter time to be here. But, you know, if you plant something and it doesn't grow, it'll go somewhere else. But I used to, well, you got to get this. You got to listen to it. No, you do what you need to do. Because it's your life. I'm trying to manage my life. I can't tell you how to manage yours.
I think you just get to a point also where what mattered before doesn't necessarily matter anymore. It's inconsequential.
No question. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like I just half the things, I just sit back and I'm like, okay. I saw a perfect meme today. It says 2025 is going to be the year of, you know, I'm just not going to argue. I'm just going to say, okay.
Yeah, I don't argue.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, you
that's
do what
the
you need
thing
to
in
do.
my head. If you say 2 + 2 = 5, all right. I just don't have the energy. And that's what I don't understand with a lot of people. It takes so much energy to hate. It takes so much energy to be angry. It takes so much energy to be critical. It takes a lot of energy to lie. You have to keep up with those lies. Why not just be honest? Just be kind. Just be happy.
But see, Amelia, again,
Expectations.
Expectations. Yeah. I'm just making a suggestion.
Well, it's a suggestion until you get frustrated. But if it affects the way you look at life, look how bad everything is. These people aren't doing this. They're protesting. They're doing. Then it's not a suggestion. You've internalized it. And once you can let that go, that everybody doesn't look at life that way. For some people, it doesn't take a lot of energy to lie. For some people, it doesn't take a lot of energy to hate. Once you can get past that everyone's not Amelia, then
I know.
You're free. Well, you know it here, but you don't know it here. And until you do, life is always going to be a big challenge.
It's something that I had to work through, and I still work through every day. You know, I don't know. I really believe that the biggest changes come with the tiniest of steps, and they're not noticeable. You handle one thing at a time, and they're small things, and you incorporate it into your lifestyle, and it stays there, and you just get better and better. And maybe that's why we get, you know, wiser as we get older, because we're making those small steps, and it takes that time to get there. But I'm also a firm believer in listening to people who are older than me talk to me about their experiences. And my parents were much older there's a big age gap between myself and them. So I was around a lot of my aunts and uncles were always much older and everything, my cousins. And I'm really love to hear people speak of their experiences and what advice they have for their experiences and everything they've been through and all of how did you handle this? And how did you handle that? And how did it change you? I'm always very curious about that. I don't ask and intrusively, but I will sit there and listen.
Yeah.
I think it's important to listen. I think a lot of people don't listen to our elders anymore. I think they know everything because of a computer, and you need to sit and listen to someone speak who's been through it. And you might be surprised at what you have to hear.
Well, maybe just moving forward. There's just little things, just set some goals. And, you know, it's like what Michael was saying before, just give some thought to, you know, to what those goals are and maybe how we can improve ourselves even a little bit. You know, I'm always looking for ways to tweak.
Yeah.
Small steps.
And we're going into a new year, and you want to have some goals. That'll keep you focused on what you need to do instead of the distractions. And you'd be surprised, or maybe not, that when you write things down, and I know the last few years I've been doing that, and what I want to achieve, and it's remarkable. I just go back and I check off. Boy, that happened already. That happened, you know, the manifestation part of it. But otherwise, because if you go through life aiming at nothing, you're going to wind up hitting nothing dead on the head. And so the world will turn, and there will be some upheaval, and there will be people acting out, but you will be shining your light. We talked about lights, and no one can put that out unless you do, and you stay focused.
Yeah.
And because this is what life is, and it has been this way since the beginning of time, and it will be. There are 8 billion people, maybe 9 on the planet. And if you worry about why there's not world peace, because 9 billion people are never going to be on the same page. You can see an accident out here. We could all three see the accident and see it 3 different ways.
Yeah.
It's just not possible that 9 billion people are all going to evolve in the same way at the same time. And once you can get those things, you can have a better life, because you don't have the expectations unrealistically. You see life for what it is, not for what you want it to be. You won't should all over yourself or over others, and your life becomes richer. It becomes more authentic. You're not expecting people to be you, and so that's part of your spiritual growth, and you can live and thrive.
What are your thoughts on New Year's resolutions then? You see them as goals?
I think that they are goals. I think that they have to be realistic goals.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of times we set ourselves up to fail because we have unrealistic goals. But if you can take bite-sized chunks of life and say, this is my goal. In 6 months, I want to have $1,000 in the bank to have a little security going forward. You know, I'm just throwing that out. And you know, in 6 months, I want to start dating again. I want to get out there. And so I'm going to give myself 6 months. By this summer, I'm going to lose weight. Whatever those goals are. I'm going to take a writing class. I'm going to start yoga. You know, you make it doable. And that way, you don't have stress. You can enjoy the process, and life becomes manageable. So I don't make New Year's goals. I don't make New Year's resolutions, but I do set up. I have a journal, and I journal, but I do write down what I want to do this year. But I make sure they're doable things. I want to take a vacation. Maybe take a long weekend, or goes, just doable things. I'm not going to let so-and-so trigger me anymore. I'm going to watch less of the news. Going to read more. Going to listen to my wife a little more. I haven't been listening to her, not real. Things that you can do because now you're conscious of it. And that's what we're talking about, changing our consciousness.
Really quick question, because we're slowly coming to the top of the hour. Do you want to get that, Amelia? Can you see it?
Sure, will do. Thank you, Michelle. Mark Manzo. Hi, Mark. A question. People tell me I'm kind-hearted and always helpful, but I don't see it in myself at all. I don't understand what I have done, like genuinely baffled, without the like.
Yeah.
Got a little valley girl in me there.
Well, I like the word genuinely. Mark, sometimes just being you is good enough. Sometimes just your energy is good enough. And you are kind-hearted and you are helpful. And if you don't see that in yourself, then maybe you need to just take the time and let it in. Meditate on that. See what comes up.
It's just
see
natural.
what comes up.
Yeah, it's who he is. So he doesn't even.
But see why you're not letting it in. Because when someone says, we can always talk about our shortcomings, but when someone says, Michael, what are some things you like about yourself? Wow. And, most people are so used to beating themselves up. So just experiment with that, Mark. Why won't I let that in? Not saying, and maybe you really don't see it, or maybe you don't want to see it. Maybe there's a voice saying, well, who do you think you are? What, are you going to get conceited? What are you going to do? You have to know your gifts.
Yeah,
so why won't you let that in? Why can't you see? I bet you see it in other people. I bet you can see it in other people. Then why can't you see it in yourself?
Sometimes I think it's because it's just who you are. Like some people are just, it's in them to be very kind and very helpful, and they don't recognize it because it's just who they are.
Right. No question. However,
which is beautiful.
That's not what I'm talking about.
I just think it's beautiful that he doesn't see it. Yeah.
Yeah. It's beautiful that he doesn't see it, but we also want to own it. Who knows how much more energy you'll send out when you can say, that's one of my attributes. I treat people the way I want to be treated. Not only do I treat them the way I want to be treated, I treat them the way they want to be treated. That's something you want to own. You don't have to spend a lot of time on it, Mark. I'm not saying, to be obsessed with it, but sometimes, because it's easier to help others, right? That's easy to do and not help ourselves. Who heals the healer?
True.
Who heals the healer? And so I love it that you're that way. I hope you stay that way, but just experiment. How come I'm not seeing that? Because I bet you see it in other people, then see it in yourself. When I was coming up, and I learned this when I was in chaplaincy training. See, I could cry about your story. You tell me your story, someone was murdered, this, that, and the other, I was raped or what. I could cry about that. I could cry about your story, but I couldn't cry about mine. And part of my growth was to learn to be able to cry about mine too. Because mine is just as valid.
Yeah. To move forward, you have to go through it. Yeah.
Well, I think this is a great place to leave off and forging ahead into the new year, because guys, next week when we come back, it'll be a new year.
New Year's Day.
It really will. So
I'm wishing all of you a wonderful and prosperous and healthy and light-filled 2025.
Oh, well, we wish the same.
No matter what the world is doing.
Yes, same to you.
That for you.
Yeah.
Stay in gratitude, because happiness lives there. My favorite saying of all. Stay in gratitude. Happiness lives there.
So speaking of 2025, tell us all what you have coming up. How can people find you?
Okay. You can find me at my email is MicheleJS.Carter.com. My fan page is Reverend Michael J. Carter on Facebook, and there's a Michael J. Carter without the Reverend in front of it. You can reach me there, but I much rather you email me. And thank all of you. I just finished doing 3 new episodes of Ancient Aliens last week when I was in New York, and that'll be in March. But the kicker is this: they're doing an episode on experiencers.
Oh, nice.
They're going to be talking, and they wound up talking to me about mine. You know, they never ask you that. Wow. So that'll be in March. They're doing a whole, I don't know who else is on the show. When I shot, it was just me in New York, but obviously there's going to be other people. So one show is going to be on the Book of Enoch. One show is going to be on experiencers. And the last show is going to be on some New Testament, some Bible stuff, some more.
Oh,
Bible.
Cool. And plus, we'd love to see New York at Christmas.
I love New York.
Because it's so beautiful during Christmas, right? And it's a special city at Christmas.
Usually I'm out in LA and they said, well, do you want to stay in the same time zone? I said, it'd be nice. So I flew up there last week. So that's what's going on in my life. My daughter's here for a month from school. So I'm like a pig and you know what.
Yep.
I love it. I love it.
Around.
And I'm looking forward to seeing those episodes.
Me too, because I was shocked.
Yes.
Shocked.
Yes. But I think it's fantastic. And
yes.
I know you're going to do great things because I know you're going to be back. We're a great thing.
And you know, I love this show. I say it. It's your ministry. I'm glad to be a part of both of you and your ministry, and you're rich. The audience is informed. They're intelligent. I mean, you can't really. They're growing. They're wise. Mm-hmm. You got a ministry here, and I'm just glad you bring me in occasionally to talk.
We're so
I love it.
I love
it.
We're so lucky to have you, and tell your wife and daughter thank you for sharing you tonight with
they're
us.
Up their sleep.
I don't blame them. I was sleeping all day after hosting. It's exhausting. Yeah.
Well, we'll do it again. You know.
Yes.
We'll have a parlay and again.
Yeah. Let's do it again.
Put something else together. Yeah, I love it. Well, I hope you have a terrific New Year's, especially New Year's Eve. You know, you're with your family and you're going to ring in the new year.
Yeah, I'm home. We're going to have dinner, and we're home by 6:37.
Nice.
It's the early bird special. We eat about 4:30. And if I watch the ball come down, that's fine. I'm not driving, so I can have what beverage I want. A little champagne.
Yes.
Yep. Sometimes they have to wake me up at midnight.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what? When I was younger, I was in a band, but not a band like a rock band. I mean, like an Italian band. So I had to work every New Year. So now New Year's Eve, I am so grateful to be sitting on the couch. I have a lot of years of Dick Clark with me. So I was grateful for it because when you're working, it's hard.
Exactly. And the whole thing is to survive to be able to see it.
Yes.
That's the whole point, at least for me.
With the countdown, I was the girl on the stage who worked 5 days a week and then Saturday and Sunday for years. So I was just like, I'm just happy to be home. You know, do you want to go anywhere? No.
That's right. No.
Just give me that bottle of champagne and some cheese and grapes, and
Amen.
I'm good.
Amen.
Yes.
Amen.
All the best to you and your family. God bless.
Yes, same to you.
Thank you.
And I will be in touch with you.
Always. And to the listeners, I love it. Thank you for taking time out of your schedule to hear me run my mouth.
Hey, we all love you.
They love you.
I love you.
You're amongst friends here.
Oh, just be safe out there. And just real quick, Amelia, I love you. Don't let them take away your joy. I know life is hard. I swear to God. And I'm not trying to be above it all. But you're a good soul. And don't let them take your joy.
Thank you. I love you more than you know.
Please don't try to tone down the fear. You're powerful. Don't let them do it. They're going to try.
I've been staying away from the
your daughter's
internet.
going to be fine. Yeah. I know, because when we've lost people through violence, you always think that. I feel my daughter's going to go out here and get hit by a car, or what if some a-hole is drunk or whatever.
Yeah, it becomes
but you
more realistic.
You got to put those thoughts out, because you can it can be what you want it to be. She's going to thrive. She's going to live a long and happy life.
Thank you. She's better than I am. She's got that mentality. I'm good.
Yeah,
we're good.
Yeah, because they're young. They're younger, and they know. We know too. But don't let them do it, because you got a lot of joy in you. Don't let them do it, okay?
Thank you. I love you.
I'm telling you, don't let them do it, because they will try. Life will try. Life is neutral, but
I want to make you and your family dinner. Like, just to be able to sit, right, Michelle? I'll make dinner. You guys all come. Seriously.
I'll catch the flight. To Canada.
Anytime. All of you, bring your whole family. Michelle, come. It'll be the
best. Vacation in Canada, and
we wouldn't even need to sleep.
Champagne and pasta.
Yes, everything you want.
There we go.
Your wish is my command.
And I've got to sign us off now.
Oh yeah, that's right. We've been talking. Okay. Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year.
Bye bye. Bye. I forgot you got to get off. Okay.
We are. Guys, so adorable. Yeah. Well, guys, you guys have been awesome, and honestly, Michael is always awesome. It's such a joy. Yes. But we are going to be live here on January 1st, the very first show of 2025, and we're going to be here with you guys, and we have a very special guest coming in, and the long-awaited return, because it's been probably about 3 years at least since he's been on, and that's Mr. Fritz Zimmerman. His newest book, called Ancient America, The Dark Side, which dives into the realm of the supernatural associated with ancient burial mounds and earthworks in the Ohio Valley, and catches archives for his work out there. It's unbelievable. He's going to be sharing firsthand accounts of people witnessing shadow people, cryptids, UFOs at these ancient sites. And I've heard this so many times. It's just, what is it about these places that attracts this kind of activity? So he's been in the field 30 years and has incredible stories that he wants to share with us. And Thursday night, we welcome back Todd Clements from the haunts of Mackinac Island for part 2. And he's going to talk about more haunted locations and experiences, and just so much fun stuff coming up. I can tell you guys that we're off to a good start for 2025 with guests. We're going to have a lot of fun. So anyway, you guys be safe New Year's Eve, because we want to see you all back here in the chat room January 1st with us, since we're sharing our New Year's Day with you guys. So again, stay safe. Happy New Year. And we'll see you, I was going to say on the flip side, but we'll see you in 2025.